If you recently looked at your views and saw a massive dip on the people visiting your website or your local business, then you might be freaking out a little bit at the moment. You've had less bookings, less inquiries, less sales, less calls maybe, and for no reason whatsoever. Well, if you did, you're not alone and it's not your fault. So in this video, I'm going to show you what it was and what you can do today to reverse it in the coming months ahead. So what actually was going on? Has Google got it in for your business? Absolutely not. There may be a good reason why Google has changed things, and I'll explain what that is and particularly why this vicinity update, the biggest update for 5 years, has affected many businesses like yours. And for those of you that are new here, I own a small business myself, so a lot of the things I've learned are for the benefit of my business, and then I share them with you each week. So make sure you subscribe, give it a like, and click the alert button if that helps you to improve your business too. So before I explain exactly what happened, did your business see views go down, particularly in the last couple of months? So how do you check your business? Type into Google my business or name of your business, and then there you can see it's got the word views. And if you click on views, then you can see whether or not you've had inquiries, calls, bookings, extra people contacting you looking for directions. You get an information, basically an overview as to whether you've had an up or a down over the last few months. Now, if it's gone up, then that's good. That means you've benefited from this update from Google. But if it's gone down, then there's a reason why that's happened, and I'll show you what you can do to reverse that. Now, it is worth saying that not all businesses went up or down just on that one basis alone, but it was more based on keyword searching. So sometimes it's good if you've monitored your keywords that you're working at. So something like Surfer Local is a really useful tool that I use. And I'll put a link down below if you want to try it out. And when you go there, you can then monitor certain keywords. And so I can see that one keyword I did really well at actually in this vicinity update, but on another keyword, it went right down. So it can vary. And so sometimes monitoring the keywords you're working at will give you a clue as to whether the competition is higher or lower. And that in itself be a useful way of understanding what happened with this update. So as you can see here, Google's actually admitted there was an update, and in the end of 2021, November 21, and that rolled into December as well. And so we know that this wasn't just a blip, this was a dramatic change. So what actually were they doing? Well, in effect, it's known as the vicinity update. And here you can see if your business exists 20 miles, or if we talk about a 20-mile radius and a 50-mile radius here as an example, 20-mile radius is blue, the 50-mile radius is green. And the center area is someone who's searching for our type of business. So when someone searches for our business, then our shop here, that may come up in the results. So say that will come up in the top 5, and then because of other factors, it may appear number 1. But Google won't give it consideration now if it's in the green area, which is where the update is. So it's shrunk the area of what it considers is local. So now suddenly it no longer gets that vicinity or that benefit of being considered local. So it could still perform, but it's got a much harder area to cover to get to that person who's searching now 15 radius rather than 20. And that really is a shrink, because you can see that a circle of a 20-mile area would cover 1,256 square miles or kilometers, whereas 15, it would cover 706. So you could say it's almost shrunk by half the amount of businesses that are now considered applicable or close to the searcher. And we know Google does look at how close you are, because that's one of the major 3 factors that are used in the algorithm. So we know there was an update, but let's just consider what Google says about those 3 areas. If you go to this page here, how to improve your local ranking on Google, and you notice how Google determines local ranking. And we can see it's down to relevance, distance, and prominence. So distance, that's the factor here that's being shrunk. That's the bit that's really changed. That's why many businesses are no longer being found. But it also means that some of the smaller businesses in that green area are now being reconsidered as a greater authority, because their distance is even closer than perhaps the larger, more authoritative ones that used to be in the blue area. And of course, it could go even beyond the 20. This is just an example. Now, to add to that, you've got relevance and you've got prominence. So what's relevance? It's a well-known local business that someone might know about. So it's relevant, and it's to do with the search terms they're using. And what about about prominence. Well, prominence is also based on information that Google has about your business from not just Google itself, but from other indexes, citations, your website authority, your domain authorities, your reviews, all those things externally as well, beyond Google's control, often beyond your control. That's building up your prominence. Well, one of the other big things that Google's been working on is what they consider is spammy titles for businesses. So if you've ever seen a business that's used the area that's local to it, or the name of the town or the city, then of course it's gained a lot of authority from that up to now. The keywords in the title gave it a lot of authority. Well, Google's taken that right down a few notches, and that makes sense because that stops then the spammy titles appearing, because now it's beginning to be a bit more fairer to businesses that have perhaps an unusual name for their business. They're well established, they're a good authority, but there's nothing in their title or their business name that reflects what they do. So devaluing keywords in the business name is a second factor. And it's interesting that I think most people have been affected one way or the other. And it's interesting to see that most people that have been following my channel were affected in a positive way, but just a few had affected in the absolute opposite way, a negative way. But you'll notice here there's a definite split between positive and negative. People either had a big increase or they had a absolute opposite negative decrease. And so the fact it divided people, and it's so clearly seen from this poll, gives you the clue that the reason why some have lost out is because others have gained. So it's rather than a mixed bag where it's been a fair update, which is what normally happens, where you can't really tell, this has been a clear division of businesses. And what we're trying to do is get businesses like you to be benefiting all the time, because Google will constantly reward things that reward customers. So think in terms of what will be best for your customer, and that's what Google's going to reward in the coming months ahead. But there's also 5 other things that Google have been very clear about as to what they're going to reward in this coming year. So if we go back to that page where Google tells us what they're looking for, and again we'll put it in some plain English terms, but this time I'm going to give you some videos to follow on the ones that maybe you don't know about or maybe you haven't considered yet. So let's have a look then, how to improve your local ranking on Google. And you notice here, update your business info for better visibility. So it mentions here, enter complete data, verify your locations, keep your hours accurate, manage and respond to reviews, and add photos. So let's just take each one of those. So enter complete data. So you may have heard of people speak of NAP, N-A-P, name, address, phone number, but actually it's so much more now. Google wants so many other things updated too. So your physical address needs to be clear, it needs to be accurate, it needs to be verifiable. Your phone number, your categories, your attributes. So you may need to look at all the information that's currently held on your Google business profile and make sure it's up to date. So it's easy enough. You can just go into your business and you can click and go through your profile and just make sure that the information there is up to date. So if you want to know how to enter the complete data, I'll have a video here that you can follow, and that will just give you that information about NAP. It's slightly old, but the principles in there will still apply. The next thing is verifying your location, and it's remarkable to think that a lot of locations haven't been verified. There are still 50% of businesses out there that haven't got a Google business profile. And there's no excuse for it really. If you've registered it with Google, or if it has a registration for your business, then claim it. And if you want to know how to do that, then I'll put a video here that will help you to do that. The next one is to keep your opening hours up to date as well, keep them accurate. So what does this mean? Well, it's a simple thing really, is when you say you're open, then be open, and when you say you're closed, then close. It also means have things like happy hours, have holiday hours, have special hours when it's needed. Google wants to be able to know that if a customer goes to your shop or your business, they're going to get the services that you've promised in the opening and closing times that you've said. So it is important to keep that up to date, because that builds up a reliability on Google's platform. What Google wants is they want people to use Google Maps or Google Search and know that the information is always right. So keeping it up to date, keeping it right, Google's going to reward you for that, because that's what they want, because that's what your customers want. So if you want to know how you can do that, how you can update all the various types of hours, not just the regular hours, then I put together a video here that will help you to do that. Now, the next thing Google's really rewarding, and this has been a bit more of a change in recent times, is you manage and you then reply to your reviews. So high quality, good reviews with information in. Do your reviews actually reflect well on your business? Do you find that customers are providing you with good reviews because you're asking for them? Are they using keywords that are relevant to your business too? Because that will help. So if you want to know how to respond to reviews, then there's a video here that will help you. And also, of course, you can add high quality images, which is the fifth area. When people go to your business, they want to see who the team is, what the front of your shop looks like or your services. They want to know what to expect when they go inside, what to expect from the outside. Certain things are shown in photos before they come to your store. So again, the importance of photos, Google sees the importance of it, your customers do too. So if you want to know more about what Google understands about photos, which is a lot, then you need to go to this video and that will help you to find out how to do that. So as you can see, there are certain things you can do things with. Those 5 things are things you can do something about. But one of the things you can't do anything about is what your competitors are doing too. So sometimes you need tools to help you get ahead of your competitors and to make sure that you can do things that your competitors can't do. So I put together a video for you that shows you what free tools there are that you can use on your business. And these free tools are going to help you to get to number 1. So meet me on that video now, and I'll show you those free tools and you'll never look back.